Hi, I'm John Stacy, and I'd like to talk to you for just a couple of minutes about The Nun's Priest Tale by Geoffrey Chaucer. Now, The Nun's Priest Tale is very different from the other Canterbury Tales in that it involves talking animals like a Disney movie. Uh, the, uh, the genre is known as the fabliau or beast fable, and in this world we have a Chanticleer, a rooster, the French name Chanticleer, like the crowing sound of a rooster, and his 7 wives, his favorite of whom is Pertolote. And what happens to them when they meet Don Russell, Don Russell, the fox. Now, Chanticleer lives at the farm of an old widow. It tells us a widow some deal stape in age, who lives in a narrow cottage with her daughters 2, and also their sheep named Molly, and hogs and dogs and ducks and everything else. One morning, Chanticleer is awakened from his sleep by this terrible dream. He groans in his sleep, and Pertolote, his wife, among all his other wives, says, "What's wrong, husband?" And he says, "Oh, I had this terrible dream. It scared me half to death. I thought that I saw something like a dog. It was a hound with a snout small and red ears tipped with black. Oh, it scared me, and it grabbed me as though it would have me deed. And that's why I groaned in my sleep." And Pertolote, the wife, says, "Oh, now you've lost all my love. You coward! What, you're afraid of a dream? What women really want, regardless of what they say, are men who are strong and don't pay attention to such things." And Chanticleer tells his wife that dreams do too mean something, and he quotes several great authors or auctors, authorities, to back him up. And Pertolote tells him what he really needs to do is to go out in the yard and peck some herbs for laxative, and that'll set him right up. Now, in his argument, Chanticleer tells her the story of the dung cart murder. It's a little murder story encased inside the Nun's Priest Tale. And in that story, he tells her by great authority that 2 men were on a pilgrimage, and they came to a town that was very crowded. There wasn't room in any of the hostelries for the 2 of them to be lodged together. And so they took separate lodgings for the night. And one of them was lodged in a regular inn, and in the night he was awakened from his sleep by this dream of his friend calling to him, saying that he had been lodged in like a barn, in a stall in a barn, and that he was going to be murdered. I meta this thing. I dreamed this whoever in this dream. And it doesn't mean anything, so he goes back to sleep. And twice more in his sleep, his friend calls to him and tells him he's going to be murdered, until at last he says, "It's too late. I have," with baleful face, he tells him, "I have immordered been. Come to my stall in the morning and see how it is." And he goes to, wakes up in the morning, goes to where his friend was staying, and the innkeeper there says, "Oh, what, your friend? Nah, he left an hour ago. He's out of town by now." But our man is suspicious and follows this dung cart out toward Dungland, the dung heap at the edge of town. And just as his friend told him it was going to be, he calls on the authorities to help him, who were supposed to keep law and order in the town. They turn over the dung cart, and there's his friend gaping up at the sky. Murder will out, we learn from this. And Pertolote is still not convinced that dreams mean anything. So, mid-morning, Chanticleer and his wives are all out pecking herbs in the yard, when this coal fox has lived in the hedge for 3 years comes along. And Chanticleer sees him and starts, because by instinct it tells us we know our opposite. But the coal fox, Don Russell, tells him, "Oh, wait, where are you going so fast? I don't mean you any harm. I just came to hear you sing. Oh, I heard you sing earlier. It was wonderful. You know, I heard your father sing. Now there was a singer, says the fox. Oh, your father. No one sang like your father. You know what your father would do? He would stand up on his toes and he would stretch his neck out to make his voice stronger and close his yin, his eyes, and oh, such a beautiful voice. Never heard anything like it. And Chanticleer is flattered by this story of the father that he can do better than that. He's sure, says the fox. By the way, the fox says that he's had the mother and the father of Chanticleer's over to his house to his great pleasure. Well, we're sure he has. So Chanticleer, to outdo the dad, stands up on his toes and stretches out his neck and closes his yin, and with that the cold fox grabs him by the gargat and makes off with him across the yard. And the hens see this and they set up a cry. The dogs begin to bark. The widow comes out of her house. Her daughter comes out of the house and they cry, "Out, Harrow the fox, alas and wail away!" And the field hands see and they get trumpets and blow, and the dogs are barking, and the ducks are afraid that someone's going to kill them, and the geese fly over the yard, and all of this racket. Chanticleer on the fox's back manages to croak out, I hear all of that. I wouldn't take that off of them. No, I'd tell them that I've got this hen, or this fox, I tell him I've got this rooster and I'm almost at the edge of the forest and I'm going to eat him up and there's nothing you can do about it. And the fox says, "You're right, I'm not going to take this." And the minute the fox opens his mouth, Chanticleer flies up in a tree. And the fox looks up and says, "Oh, what are you doing up there? You know, come on down. I'll tell you what this was about. I'll tell you what I meant by grabbing you like that. I didn't mean you any harm, of course. Come on down. I'll tell you." And Chanticleer says the equivalent of, "No, I blame us both. I blame you for doing it, and I blame me for believing you in your flattery. Fool me once, fool me twice." And the fox says, "Yeah, you know, the moral of this story should be that you shouldn't he who jangleth should keep his mouth shut." There's a couple of morals given at the end of the story, even though the author tells us if you take this just as a story of a fox and rooster, you're missing the point, that there's a much more moral to it than that. Well, it's a terrific little story nestled here amongst the Canterbury Tales. Thank you.